Hello. I'm really excited about today, guys. So I'm just really excited to talk today because paras, one-on-ones, whatever you want to call it. All right, one-on-ones are what you want for your child. A para, a teacher assistant, those are a little bit different. And sometimes they're called aides in different places. But bottom line, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons, okay? And, you have to remember right out the gate, okay, that this is solely, okay, not all, everyone, or an always, or a never, okay? This is generally, all right? And from being in the education field for over 2 decades, and yes, I just had a birthday, so I am getting old. I just turned 45. Yes, I know. Make sure to share this, guys. Okay. Share this to another teacher, share it to a para, share it to another parent, share it to somebody who is wanting a one-on-one for their child. Share it to somebody who you feel that it could help. Okay. I'm going to fix this really quick. Okay. So here's the deal. This is a huge subject. And it's a big subject because I can't tell you how many children need paras. All right. And the amount of people we need are not there. They're not going to happen this year. Okay. We need more paras. We need more teachers. And this year is, of all 3 years, you got COVID, you got last year, and now this is going to be the worst year when it comes to staff. All right. And, I've told you guys that we can't look at things in that way. You kind of have to change your thinking, because even though we want to work together as a team, I know I'm that person who you guys may think, some people, I got lots of haters out there. Okay. I think I am the most hated advocate out there. But how I look at it is, when you do really well at something, you're gonna have haters. That's just a fact, and I don't boast or brag on what I do other than to share the wins. And guess who's winning? Not me. That child, that family. And that brings me to a huge win, okay, that I'm going to share with you before we start talking about paras. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IUP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IUP meeting. I was just listening to like a Zoom thing from another, and they were talking about like this referral program and how you have to pay them for them to refer you. And I was just like, okay, I need to get off and go live, because that just kind of blew my mind. So here's the wins. Anybody out there, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right, here's the deal. Is raise your hand, say hello, tell me where you're from, and tell me if you live in California. All right, Californians, hello, all you healthy people, hello. So hi Beth, how are you? Welcome. Hi Samantha. So post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Share this post that you said you shared. Just put shared. Your name goes into a hat. All right. Colorado. Okay. So here's the win. I make myself crazy when I do complaints. All right. And I wrote a 28 page complaint. It had 10 complaints. Okay. And the state of California found for the child. Okay. And it was a huge win. I was thrilled. I don't know if those of you who have followed me, thank you, Kim, for sharing. I don't know if those of you who have followed me, I know I took a 2-month break and I know I'm just gaining people back, and that's fine. I needed the mental erasing of IEP stuff and needed to get my sanity back so that I can do what I do best. Okay. So it was such a win. And when I got the document, I couldn't believe it. Right. Aaron, I shared it with Aaron. I was like, oh my God, I just won this complaint. It was huge. It was the one, if you guys remember, that I talked about where they did not provide the child the AAC device for a year. So the child had an IEP. They had another IEP meeting. They did an AAC review. They didn't even do an evaluation. The next meeting, which was a month later, they said the child needed an AAC and, in fact, could not even make progress without this AAC. And then it took them 1 year to provide that child the AAC device. Okay, so that was that case. All right, it was 10 complaints. And I'm really okay. I said that I didn't boast about some things. Okay, I'm like so stoked about this one. Okay. Because not only does the child win, the family wins. It was such a fight. He's a little boy, kindergartner, first grade, and he was kindergarten at the time, so he didn't get his AAC until first grade. And so now, things are going to be on the up and up for him. And, the state ordered the school district to provide training. They ordered compensatory services. They ordered the school district to report back to the state on what type of training they're doing, the agenda, everything, kind of like babysitting. The family gets compensatory services. There has to be monthly training on the AAC device. I mean, it is beautiful. I was so happy. So yay for this family, right? Yes, I made myself nuts writing this complaint, but I really put my heart and soul into it, and I really go through the documents. And I mean, the packet is huge. I'm sitting here looking for it, and I'm like, do I have it on me? No, it's in my files. But I mean, I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled. So I'm so happy for this family. All right, so let's move on. So we're going to talk about paras. There's teacher's assistants, and Kim Schultz. All right, you can see her here. She can actually chime in as well, because there are teacher assistants, and she lives in the state of New York. I will not any longer, okay, be an advocate for someone who lives in New York City. So if you live in New York City, I'm really sorry. Okay. I really am. All right. It's their fault. No, I can't do it. It's too crazy. It's the largest in the United States. Then there's LAUSD in Houston. I work with LAUSD in Houston all the time. I can't do New York City. It's too much. It's just too stressful. And, it's just a mess. It's a mess. They are such a mess that I don't do messes. I clean up messes. And, I tell parents when they live in the city, get the hell out of the city. I know the city is awesome, but get the hell out of there. All right. It is not what's in the interest of your child. It is not. Okay. Plus it's cheaper not living in the city. But no, seriously. It's not where you need to be if your child's in special education. It's just not. So don't live there. I'll take Houston and LA anytime. All right. I'm sure many of you heard about the how LAUSD owes 23,000 something. Don't quote me on the number. I'll have to go back and listen to the webinar. Children compensatory services. You guys hear about that? So, I knew they had a lot of lawsuits going on, but I didn't realize it was that much. So it just goes to show, not a ha-ha to LA, because that sucks. It sucks for the kids. And honestly, it sucks for all the teachers that had no part in the participation of the delivery and the non-delivery, and now everybody has to kind of come together because that's what's going to happen, and then everybody's got to give this compensatory service and to all these kids. It's like, how the heck is this going to happen? What are they going to put them all in a group and say, okay, sit here and listen? I mean, how the hell is this going to happen? I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible. I mean, I just really don't. Yeah, they are like 10,000 kids down on enrollment. It's crazy. Okay. But I'm just glad I won 10 complaints. And, of those complaints, this child gets, so much stuff really given to him in the sense of the school district being held accountable. Because, it's one thing for me to go in and get you what you need. But it's another thing to follow up and to make sure that the implementation of what has been provided and put together, that on point IEP, right? That it's put together. A lot of my parents keep me in play, for some are like, I just need you to come to every IEP. I can't handle it. Others, it's like I say, we need to babysit the first year. I know that sounds bad to some teachers and school districts, but just ignore the wording. It's what us parents have to do. And then after that, every 3 months, quarterly, when you get your progress reports. And then after that, if they've, done what they need to do and you feel comfortable, then we kind of, back it off to twice a year, right before Christmas and then in the spring. So let's move on. So paraeducators, I'm going to take a step back. All right. Hear me out here. You're going to hear a lot of stuff. Participate. So if you've had a para, if you've had a teaching assistant, tell me the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, the I couldn't live without them. My child would not have succeeded without it. I want to hear it. Post it below in the comments. All right. If you haven't made a comment before and you're in the group, you're going to have to click the link that's going across the board. And I think Erin's going to post the link as well in the comments. So just click that link. It'll take you to say, hey, can we show your Facebook picture? And then, that's how it is. Okay. So like, for example, you can see here how Kim's picture is shown and then her name, right? So, and then you have Samantha and her picture and her name. Okay. So like, if you don't click that and you're on the group and you haven't clicked it before, then it'll be like this circle of nothing. And I don't know who you are. Okay. So back in the day is how I say it. Cause can you guys believe Sky's going to be 17 next Monday. I'm taking her to the Lady Gaga concert. in DC at the National Stadium, and she is so stoked. That is her person, okay? She likes paparazzi. She likes all those songs. I'm actually excited to go too. I can't believe I got these tickets for her to go, but she's so stoked. She's so stoked. Um, I'm excited about that. I can't believe she's going to be 17. So again, if you're joining, I see a lot of people joining. Post a 1 below if it's your first or third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Okay. So Sky got involved in school when she was 2. All right. She's now going to be 17 next Monday. And she started out in the early childhood education program, and then, of course, went to kindergarten and, had an IEP since she was 2. All right. And she has always had a one-on-one, until a couple years ago. So, the amazing part of having, her one-on-one was always a RBT. So that's actually another type of one-to-one that one can get. They're a little bit harder to get within school districts. School districts are not required to provide an RBT, which is, if you know that a hierarchy of BCBA. So you got your BCBA, a board certified behavior analyst. You have your BCABA right under. And then you have an RBT who has a year of experience with behavior and works underneath a BCBA. So if your child has behavior problems, or if your child has any other type of concerns that, a BCBA would be involved with, then a RBT is always a good option. Now, if we just start out with, they're called different things: aides, paraeducators, assistants, teachers' aides. But when you look at teachers' assistants, and Kim can help with this too, because they have that in her area, where they have levels like a 1, 2, 3. And so in those levels is of what knowledge they have, okay, and experience. So, we had an aide when my child first started school. She got things done right. And when school went back and we brought Raven in, and we now have a teacher assistant because my child is behind, right. So we got Kim a teaching assistant. And that is, you got to put it up, I think, Aaron, as a link. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, so teaching assistants in certain areas are different. So some have to have an associate's degree. Some have to have 2-3 years experience. So the tiers 1, 2, and 3 of a teaching assistant in different states vary of what type of knowledge and experience they have to have. Okay. So let's start with just a regular para teacher's aide. Okay. I actually ran into one at Costco today. She's the manager of Costco now, but she used to be teacher's and I think she called it a TI. Does anybody else does their states call it a TI? I have not heard that one yet. So teaching assistants. All right. So that's somebody who can work anywhere in the school. And, back in the day, I say back in the day, because Sky's 17, she started at 2, right? So just do the math. So 15 years ago. And, they worked everywhere. They worked in kindergarten classes, just not so much helping with kindergarten and the teacher, but just like, cutting out things and doing all the, cut and paste type stuff, and helping the teacher in that way and doing all of those types of things. All right. And then, things just kind of grew. All right. Because back in the day, they were not looked at as they are now. I guess I should say how I look at them. All right. Because everybody looks at them differently. I know that. So how I look at teaching assistants is I look at it like teachers and nurses. And I say this a lot. is amazing people, nurses, teachers, aides, amazing people who work their ever loving ass off and don't get compensated for it. Kills me. Um, and, a really good teaching assistant will make or break your child's year, even if they're not one on one, even if they're just in the classroom. Granted, we hear the horrific stories. We know that. I'm going to get there. But I just want to give a shout out to all the assistants out there and the teachers' assistants and, all the good people, truly good people who have good hearts and just want what's right for these kids. And even the ones who will talk to the parents outside of school and give information to the parents when things aren't happening that aren't right. And, my daughter's aides and assistants, one-to-ones is what I called them, but, they're teachers, aides, assistants, paraeducators. She was so tight with them. And, as difficult as I was as a parent, I expected a lot. I expected, certain things, my child to come home clean. I expected, my child to be cared for and to feel safe and loved, if you will, and, feel a part of and, someone that, truly cared for her. Funny thing is Skylar and I are so different. Everybody loves Skylar. Everybody hates me. Okay. So like I said, I'm probably the most hated advocate out there. And I'm okay with that. I really am, because even though I'm good at what I do, I want to make it to where the districts are doing everything they need, that I don't have to come in and guide them in this journey of doing the right thing and it being this ridiculous circus and in fact changing and being calm and about the child and not stressful. And, if an advocate comes into play, and this happens sometimes it doesn't, why would you need an attorney? What did you do wrong? It's kind of like, don't you realize that when you hire attorneys, when advocates come into play, how guilty that makes you look? I'm not an attorney. I know all kinds of stuff about attorney stuff and, the law and whatever, but I could care less about that stuff. I'm there to do what I need to do to make sure that child gets what they need to get. And if I have to fight you in the process because of the ridiculousness and unacceptance of advocates or unacceptance of somebody coming in and being in your territory and, telling you what to do or, however it is that they feel, when as adults, we need to be able to put things aside, our feelings, right? And be adults and do what's best for the kids. And, instead it becomes this situation where I have to be nasty and, it is not this collaborative experience at first. It does get that way in the end. I promise you. It's crazy. It's like fight, because, oh my God, you're in play. So let me put up the brakes and, we got to act like we're all big and bad and, this, that, and the other. We're going to hire an attorney and hopefully scare you off and whatever else, comes into play, that it's never fazed me, you can't be, and that's why my membership's going to be so important. I'm so damn glad, guys, that it's going to be so different from all the ones that I've put my eyes on. Okay. Because I am different and I embrace that because I get things done and I get it done in the way it needs to be done. All right. My mom is so old school. Okay. And she raised me if it was just her and I for a period of time. And she taught me, she said, if you're going to do something, Raven, you better do it right. Do it right the first time. And of course, being stubborn, and she would say, oh my gosh, I could bet $1 million if I tell Raven no, she's going to do it anyway. Crazy thing is, she taught me that, if I was going to clean the bathroom, if I didn't want to clean it 50 million times, because she would make me clean it 50 million times, that I better clean the damn thing right the first time. And I've kind of led with that. Have I made a shit ton of mistakes along the way? Oh, yes. But I have really kept that in my head and in my mind and have tried to lead in that way. All right. Now, one thing that the school districts will do is they'll fight you on the way in which you want to go about things, because they've been used to doing things their way this whole time. And now you come in and mess with their stuff. They don't like that too much. But think about it. Who does? So it makes sense. But you have to kind of wiggle your way in there like a little worm and, set your spot and sit there and let them know you're not moving until this is figured out. All right. And, I always say, look, because typically I find a lot of violations. And I'm not one to just jump on those violations right away. But piss me off and I'm going to get you with them. All right. Just like I did in California. And guess what? This school team did not think that was going to happen. They were cocky little shits and thought that they could just do what they wanted. And then when I busted their bubble, when the state came back, I mean, I had so many conversations with the state before they came back with the things they came back with. And you want to know the funny thing is I have 3 more complaints to make on them if I want to. And I have 30 days in which to do it. California's kind of cool in a lot of ways, believe it or not. They're like New York and, a little bit one in their own, but they have a lot of good things too. And, I think it's really important to, stick with, your guns and stick with what you know is right and stick with what that child needs. And leading back to paras and one-to-ones, many of them will go above and beyond just to have that happen, because it's not happening with anyone else, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, thanks, Samantha. It is awesome. I'm super stoked about it. Thanks, Aaron, for posting that. So Aaron just posted this. So this is what you go to if you're on the group and you need to click this so that I can see your picture. Facebook groups are really weird and stupid. So you have to, kind of abide by their rules, if you will. Okay. All right. So Kim says they call it a 1-to-1 aide around my area. And Kim's in New York. She's not in the city though. And they're just there to redirect the child, keep them safe, help when the child needs to take a break, like a walk, etc. Hey, Mindy, how are you? Hey, Janet. And Christine says, I wanted to get a 1-on-1 for my son and the district denied it. That doesn't mean you stop. They're going to deny it the first time. Of course. It's like, you fight your insurance company, right, Christine, because they said no and you appeal it. You know what I mean? You have to show that you're not going, hi, Sarah. How are you? You have to show that you're not going to give up. You have to show that you're going to be present and be in the picture. And I say, stuck up their ass until they start moving. And, I was talking to someone the other day, a para, and she was telling me we're treated like crap. We haven't had, increases in pay. Some of the teachers talk crap about us. We're just not treated with respect and dignity. And because they're so-called the low man on the totem pole, right? And, some of them said to me that they were kind of used and abused, if you will, when COVID was going on. Like, oh, you got to show up anyway, even though a COVID outbreak happened. And, there's just a lot of things that they've put up with that we all really need to give kudos to these good paraeducators and one-on-ones, because I'm telling you, the good ones are irreplaceable. My daughter really bonded with her para and her one-on-one aide, and would come home and talk about her a lot and over and over and over. And, don't get me wrong, was there things that happened that I had to get on top of that was not appropriate or I didn't put up with or whatever? Sure. But was it squashed pretty quickly? Yes. And, the thing is, for me, is if that person is doing what they need to do for the child, and my child, your child, likes that person, all right? And if you're anything like me, where you're that nightmare parent that is going to do whatever it takes for their child to get what's needed and appropriate, then look at it like that. Look at it like, okay, I don't have to like them, but if my child likes them, that's all that matters, right? And if you like them, then that's even better. But those are the things you really need to look at, meet them, and find out who's in your child's class. If there's paras in your child's class, find out who they are. Ask to meet them. Ask what their names are. Obviously, if you know your child has a one-on-one, then you're going to know the name and that sort of thing. Always have a communication sheet that, if they're going to fill it out because they're with your child 24/7, that's fine. Make sure they know how to fill it out. And this is where, some of the, I guess, downplay in the picture goes. Not that it's the parent's fault, it's the communication. All right. Think about how difficult it is when you have the school district you're communicating with, the district you're communicating with, and the district's supposed to communicate with the school and they're not, and vice versa. And it becomes this big mess because nobody's communicating with each other. And then, if the para is the one that's supposed to be the one writing the communication sheet, if it's in reference to that, then it goes back on them, and that's not fair. So there's a lot of things that are not fair that happen. There's a lot of things that, happen that we have to be careful of, like the paraeducators that have locked children in bathrooms and, done some of the horrific things that we've heard on the news and so forth. So it's like, you have your amazing, amazing paras, and then you have ones that should not be near children. And you have to go with your gut of if your child has a one-on-one, the benefit of that. Now, let's talk a little bit about, so in any profession, in nursing and being a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, you have your good, just like with advocates, you have your good advocates and your bad advocates. And I would say a good advocate is someone who gets shit done. That's it. I don't care if they're nice, mean, rude, I don't care. If you get what's needed for that child, I don't care. That's the person I want. A bad one, I guess you couldn't say a bad one, but one that isn't getting things done. It's like, let's get this done, and funny thing is I'll hear a lot of times, because school districts, the good advocates, and there's, a couple of us that I know of, where they will say to the parents, did you know, we have a list of advocates that you could choose from. Would you like a copy of the list? And the parents would come back to me and tell me this stuff. And I'm just laughing my butt off because I'm like, do you really think that I would want any type of list from you? Like, are we, is something wrong here? You realize I just got an advocate that I want, and you're asking me if I want a list from you of advocates that you like because you know how to bully them? Yeah. I have a family I worked with, and they had an advocate. We actually went to due process in Florida, and they had an advocate that actually worked for them that was also an advocate and then teamed up with the school, and parents didn't know until it kind of came out. And I even had to let the parent know of things that she had said, and then the parent found out certain things that she had done, and talking to the school privately behind, the parent's back. Not, I do that all the time, but like, in the sense of, how to do certain things, with the child. And it was just horrible. Yeah, a list of advocates. They have a list of advocates, didn't you know? I mean, don't call an advocate that you want and that's going to kick some ass for you. Call their list of advocates. Yeah, funny, right? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so that's what they'll do because they want you out. If you got a good advocate, they want them out as quick as possible. What do we need to do to get them out? And so that is, red flag too. So let's talk about if you think your child needs a one-on-one. I'll be the first one to say that parents should be able to help all children. I know. And you're saying, Raven, you just said that your daughter had a one-on-one. What the heck? You're saying that a one-on-one or a parent should help all children? So I don't think that all children need hand-holding. Okay? We want the children who specifically need that one-on-one, not just educationally, but behaviorally. And then we need to look at, okay, all right, say your child does need some assistance, some one-to-one. Then you really need to ask yourself, does my child need a one-on-one for like math and reading or some core academic subjects? Or does my child need a one-on-one for the whole day and needs to have that one-to-one consistency? If you can truly, not what you want, yes, I want a one-on-one all day for my child. Yeah, I want my child to have that, one-to-one. Look at it in a different light, and in the sense of you want your child to be as independent as possible. So if that extra support is sufficient in just core areas, go with that. All right. Ask for that one-to-one in those areas. Say and then you have to support it. All right. And you got to fight for it. Okay. But ask for it in that area, and that you can get specially designed instruction in those areas. And a para is not even needed at that point. Now, is a para in the room typically? Sure. But sometimes it's just specially designed instruction in order for that child to have, the support they need in that academic area. But if your child has behavior issues, mine did at the time, she needed someone in the hallway. She needed someone walking with her to, different areas. She wasn't able to eat lunch in the cafeteria. And she had to, eat in the classroom because it was just too much for her. And so it all depends on your child. And accommodating your child is where paras really can come in and really be of assistance to our children with special needs. A lot of paras do love being paired with one child because they form an attachment. Some paras like the experience of working with multiple different children. So, the pairing of a one-to-one with your child is just as important as a one-to-one. Um, I fired I fired multiple. I fired multiple people from my daughter's IEP team. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. I did. Meaning I told them to get the hell off my child's team, that I was not going to deal with them anymore and they were no longer going to work with my child. Now, was that accepted within my team? Yes, it was. More likely than not because they didn't want to deal with me. But I didn't care why. What I cared about was that it was done. All right. And that's why I like to, when I come to you guys, I truly come to you as a parent and from experience of what I deal with on the daily, on top of having dealt with horrific things on my own as a parent with my own daughter. So it comes from a lot of stuff. It's like that stuff that you like push down and, we have fester within us that we just want to release because it just is not helping us as human beings, that we just got to release that, like, I've learned through the years, you don't want to hate people. You don't want to, intentionally be mean to somebody. If something's said in an IEP meeting, there's an attorney that I have gone at it with, but I'll tell you this, I respect her. Crazy, right? But boy, we have gone at it. When I say we have gone at it, this attorney and she and I have seriously gone at it. No joke. No joke. I should play some of the audio for you. I mean, we went at it. All right. And, that was because she knew she was in the wrong. I mean, we were both, we both kind of played with things, but in the end, the kids got what they needed. And in the end, we came together. And in the end, guess what? It was very clear that she told the team that she figured out how I worked. She figured out that it's all about, in the beginning, if your child hasn't had evaluations, about the evaluations. Where's that child? Where's the present levels? Then it's about going over that and how I'm nitpicky about every little thing of where is those deficits? What do we need to focus on? What is the most important part? Like a chef, they look at most important pieces or flavors, or what the meat has to be of perfection and taste amazing. And, all of these things. That's how I am with the IEP present levels and goals and services, is it has to be amazing. Okay. It has to be, precise. Everything needs to be in those present levels, and they will fight you tooth and nail on getting everything that is important out of the present levels. It's the craziest thing ever. And teachers' aides and assistants and one-on-ones, they should be given this information. All right. They should be given this information. If they haven't, that's a problem. But many times they're blamed for things that they had no information on. And that's not their fault. All right. I've seen this happen a lot where it's the parent's fault. It's the parent's fault. It's not always the parent's fault. Things always fall down when the problem is up. Okay. And so we really have to look at that. All right. I'm not here to just be like, oh, paras are just awesome and there's never ever a problem. But for the most part, they're good people. If you don't have a good feeling about your para, If your child doesn't like the para, then switch them up, and you're going to have to fight that. You are. They're going to, because legally speaking, and with an idea, you are not allowed to pick and choose like teachers or paras or whatever. Okay. But it's the same thing with behavior. All right. If something's not working, you have to change it. And the same thing goes for if a pair is not working for your child, you have to change it. They can't say, oh, okay, let's change it, because change something because it's not working for one thing, but then not change a para because your child and the para aren't clicking. It could go either way. It could be the para's just not meshing with the child, or it could be the child's not meshing with the para. Who cares who it's about? Not everybody meshes. And so we have to I had to look at that all the time with Skylar, because she is very picky on her connections and her choice of connections. Kind of like her mama. All right. I'm very picky of who I trust, who I don't trust. In this world, unfortunately, we live in this world where people love and thrive on people failing and people, being too fat, too thin, too ugly, too pretty. I mean, it's just this big mess, instead of people staying in their own. Have you ever heard the saying, stay in your own damn lane? Stay in your own damn lane. Mind your own business, And it's like the same thing with special education. The school district, if you are a pain in their ass, want nothing more than to see you fail and fall on your face. And how that happens is when parents get their Google PhD, like I did, and come to the table and think that they know everything, because you are knowledgeable and you did get your Google PhD. It's funny, but it is. I mean, I had so much knowledge, but what happened is I didn't know how to put that knowledge into play. All right. So when, I talk about my membership that's coming out, and you guys will get the emails next week, it's going to be about training you to become an advocate, but to train you to become an advocate for your child, or train you to become an advocate for a living. Okay. And fight for other children, or fight for your child first and then go help other children. Advocates out there need to be good. They need to know their shit. All right. You cannot be insecure in any way, shape, or form. The school district will cream your ass. They will smash you like a pancake, twist and turn you, and crumble you up. That's what they will do. So you got to have a tough exterior. You have to be able to hold your own. You have to be able to take criticism, and you have to be able to know your stuff and be able to come with it and not doubt yourself at all. Okay? Be able to admit when you're wrong, be able to own your stuff, be able to let them know that you're there to work together and that you really don't want to fight. And that getting along is so much easier. And, once I get to that place with teams, doesn't mean we love each other or like each other. All right. But at least there's somewhat of a respect, and the IEP meetings from then forward are cordial. Okay. School districts never like having to back off and give you what it is that your child needs, and in the end, you have to remember that. You have to remember that you're not friends. All right. You are business partners. And in business, just like a CEO, that's why I want you to become CEOs of your IEP meeting. Okay. That doesn't mean just because you're the boss, you're not the boss of that team over there. All right. You're the boss of what goes on with your child. All right. You're the boss of what's going to happen with your child because you're the parent and you're the most important member, equal team member. And you're the boss of ensuring that you're treated like an equal team member. Okay? And CEOs are not do this, do that, do this, do that. They're problem solvers. They're critical thinkers. They're people who think outside the box, okay, in order to solve problems and get your child what they need. So the fight comes with they don't want to provide your child what they need, even though they say they want to provide your child what they need. It's weird. You know, why are you saying you want to provide my child what they need when you're not giving my child what they need? Why do I have to hire an advocate? Why do I have to hire an attorney? Why do I have to do all these things if you really want to give my child what they need? Why all of a sudden we're on the same page because you hired an advocate or an attorney or whatever? We're on the same page. That's what I have attorneys tell me all the time when they come into play. And, you know, school districts hire attorneys right when I come into play sometimes. And the attorney said, we're on the same page. I think we're all thinking in the right direction. Well, if that was the case, then why didn't they think in that direction like before I came into play? Why am I in play if you're thinking in the right direction? Do you see it's just so much so much bullshit happens. It's almost hard to wrap it around your head. You know, you're just digesting, you know, because it just keeps coming. And you believe me, I prayed that it would just stop. Just please stop. Please let this year go by decently. Let me not have to fight. Let me not have to leave an IEP meeting feeling sick. Or drive to an IEP meeting and feeling sick to my stomach, literally. I think that's the anxiety, you know, that parents get, you know. So going back to paras, they're not allowed at your IEP meetings, typically. Number one, in all honesty, they're not paid enough to be at those damn meetings. Okay. Number two, if a para is giving you information, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. All right. Get the information. Keep them silent. Meaning, hold on. You don't throw the messenger out under the bus. You figure out a way to get what you need for the child, but you don't throw the messenger under the bus. All right. If you're getting information from your para or your teaching assistant or whoever, all right, you never throw that person under the bus. All right. That is 101. All right. What do they call it? You don't snitch. All right. You don't snitch. You stay in your lane. All right. Because if you're getting information, keep getting that information and then figure out how you're going to use that information in order to navigate what you need to do. All right. Because you got to remember, and this is something important to remember. Paras can get themselves in this tizzy, if you will, because most of them, like I said, want to help and will go above and beyond for your child, you know, especially ones that have that one-to-one relationship, because the ones that are kind of floaters, you know, they don't, not all of them have the opportunity to, you know, bond, you know, because they're kind of here, there, and everywhere, wherever they're put kind of thing. But the ones that really do work with your child one-to-one or work with certain students, etc., you can't help but Hi. See, this is what happens when people post and I can't see your picture. You have to click that link. Erin, can you give her that link? It's the link that's going across the screen. It's like streamyard.com/something, Facebook or whatever. Who are you? But thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad I'm back too. Um, I really appreciate that. So yeah, streamyard.com/Facebook. All right. And then you click yes, my picture can be seen. Okay. Um, so what was I saying, guys? Um, oh, having that attachment is that's just a nice thing to see. You know, when you see that relationship form, but you also have to watch out for not the either or bad, the child or the para. If it's not a good fit, your child's not going to learn. And that's where, hey, Anna, how are you? Oh my gosh. You missed me saying the huge, you'll have to text me or call me. I need to see pictures of that baby. Congratulations. But I had a huge win with state complaints in California, like 10 complaints made. Like it was amazing. I am so shocked and so excited. And yeah, and I know you're in California, so I wanted to tell you. um, so moving on, guys, in regards to paras, is they're amazing. They're amazing help. They're underpaid. Get them stuff, and teachers, get them, teacher appreciation month and, Valentine's Day and, all just those little things. You don't have to do anything big, just those little things and those little, um, showing that you care and that you see what it is that they're doing, I feel goes such a long way, um, I even would have Sky make something for her para, her RBT. But it's just so cool when, you can show that appreciation and say, hey, I may not say it every day, but I just want you to know that I really appreciate you and appreciate you working with my child and that you're thought about, And I think that goes such a long way because, we're missing in this world just normal human kindness, like I was saying, so many people, are out to hurt others and tear people down. And, if you're down, just slam you even more. And, you know, making fun of people, making comments. Oh, you made this mistake. You made that mistake. Oh, she did this. He did that. It's like, dear God, worry about you and worry about what you're doing. And if you're a good person and, if you're doing right each and every day, and if you're not, then what is it that you need to change, And those are the things that really need to be looked at instead of all the negativity out there that's put out there into this world, and teachers are quitting because of the negativity and because of it's not just districts, it's because of parents too. And not all special ed parents, that's not what I'm saying. It's just everybody, um and that's frustrating. You don't want to push a good person out because you're mad, I have a lot of situations where I have really good teachers, but everybody else sucks, like the administration and everything. And then they put all this stress and everything on the teacher. Like I just had to send an email out where I said, I just wanted to let you know that, the parents and the outside BCBA have raved about you as the teacher. I want you to know that even though you're getting my emails, that it is not directed just at you. It's, directed at, these other things. And I just want you to know that I'm very forthcoming because I want you're going to know where you stand in my circle, because I feel like, the worst thing is wondering what did I do wrong? As a teacher, what did I do wrong? Why is she coming at me? Why am I being blamed for this? I would rather this, and this happened. This, and this needs fixed, and where I will attack. Yeah, that's the word I used, attack. Where I will go in for the attack is when something happens to a child, whether they're not progressing or safety or anything else that is, within the negative of the child, educationally, safety, etc. And you're going to sit and feed me excuses and bullshit. That is where I will go in for the attack. If I'm getting responses back, and this is the same thing when you talk about paras, and when you're getting responses and that communication back and that openness of none of us are perfect people. Okay, teachers aren't perfect, parents aren't perfect, nobody's freaking doctors aren't perfect, nobody's freaking perfect. So if something's going down, we're not happy about something that's going on with our children, whether that's with a para or teacher or whoever, then we be honest as to, okay, well, you've been doing this with my child, XYZ, it's not working. Or this para has been working with my child. It's not working. My child's not making progress. We need to switch something up. That's okay. It may be offensive a little bit, but it's okay. And I don't think that any adult should take things personally like that, because it's not a personal issue. It's about the child. And so it's not like, oh, you're a bad person. It's something's not working. It doesn't mean you did something bad. It means something's not working. And not everything works with people, because we're all different. And so we have to look at those things when it comes to our kids, because our kids, think about it, they go out and they play, and they may have that one child that they are always getting into something with, right? And that's the child that they're always getting into something, and you're like, don't hang out with that child, don't do this, don't do that, But what you have to remember is the same thing happens, with life and with people and with one-on-ones and aides and so forth. So you do need to be mindful of who's working with your child. You do need to be mindful about the educational piece. All right. I didn't hit this yet. For me, as a parent, and I will just speak for myself because the rules and regulations for each school district are different, or maybe I should say each state are different, because this is not an idea issue, is, I would not have a para work with my child that just graduated high school. That's me. All right. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. That's the fact. I always asked, what is their educational background? How long have they been working with children with autism and dyslexia? Specify your child's disability. All right. I don't care about any other child. All right. When I talk to my parents, this is what I say. I'm worried about your child and what your child needs. When I'm talking to another client, it's about their child and what their child needs. We're not worried about anybody else right now. It's your child. All right. So if each and every one of us worry about our child, children are going to grow and blossom, and we're going to hopefully work our way out of this hellhole of special education crisis and IEP messes. All right. And then once you learn, then you pay it forward, right? So that is important. It is important to know who's working with your child. It is important that you hold yourself accountable and responsible for what it is of your expectations. Kim wanted someone who had experience. What was it, the level 3 or something, Kim? Was that what it was? Um, where this person had to have, like, I think it was 5 years experience, and, they had to have certain things, you know? That's what I would want with the person had to have 5 years experience. um, at least. And then, experience with children with autism, behavior issues, and dyslexia. Would I take other people? Would I say it's okay for someone, 3 years, 4 years? Sure. But it just depended on the person, you know? Because experience is where it is. All right. I learned all kinds of things in school, getting my master's degree and doing all these things. But in all reality, I learned the most being in the trenches, just like you. Okay. Being on the teacher's end, being on the parents' end, now being on the advocates and parents' end. And so it's so important to hold true to what your expectations are. Some people may have expectations of, I don't care who works with my child as long as my child likes them. Somebody else could be like me, and I'm like, no, you have to have at least 2+ years experience of working with children with autism and dyslexia and behavior issues, because I don't want problems occurring. Lorena says, or is it Lorna? My 12-year-old has been attending ABA therapy 25 hours a week this summer. That's awesome. And we hope to transition into 7th grade. Part-time, very nervous mama. She left 5th grade and went to therapy. COVID happened, etc. Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking, especially now, Lorna, making that transition this year. But we're going to be in a mess for quite some time. So it's kind of like one of those things where we just got to learn to deal with the mess, and, to everybody out there. All right. I joke and say, okay, I'm the most hated, advocate out there, whatever. I honestly don't care, am I? Probably not. I'm joking, but if I was, I wouldn't care, I'd be curious as to know why. But me, I'm not one of those people that, like, if I was the type of person to hate on something, I would tell you what's up. I would be like, you did XYZ, that was pretty messed up, where a lot of people are like those silent, like, anteaters, and will eat away at people and, like, never show their face. It drives me nuts. It's like, if you're going to talk shit and let it be known. Let that other person have something to say back, because guess what? It's not just you. It takes two to tango, and it's not always just one-sided. And, it's like the freaking news, like people think that everything that comes on TV is that's it. That is the real shit. And I think most of us intelligent human beings know it's not all the real shit. All right. So I hate watching the news these days, because, like, leads us to be these nervous, screwed up people, because everything's going on wrong. I mean, I get that. Do you guys have, like, iPhones? I know, Mom, if you're anything like my mom, she got that damn Samsung thing. Samsung Galaxy something. I don't know nothing about it, but, I got an iPhone. So if y'all have iPhones, there's this app. It's like, what is it? Yeah, here it is. Newsbreak app or whatever. Can you say? I got, like, blur on or whatever. But I'll say things pop up almost every 3 minutes. Like today, in Virginia Beach, there was, like, a car went off the road into the water, and, someone killed so-and-so. And I mean, it's so depressing, and then, what'd you say? I'm that parent, does Christmas presents. Yeah, I love doing that, like, I mean, God, Skylar's at Linda Mood Bell now, so she's got everybody. I mean, that's one thing I love about them is you want generalization. I didn't used to want that. I was like kind of like stuck in my way when Sky was younger. I wanted the same person with her all the time. I wanted that security myself. The director knew don't go changing shit up on me last minute. I will lose my mind. I was that mom, you know? But then I grew into realizing that the more people who work with my child, the more differences my child sees with people being different and how they're teaching opened my eyes to realizing that was the best way to see who clicked the best and who taught the best. All right? Because you have Skylar has all these people, not just one person. And Skylar, it has been, proven time and time again, Skylar learns through one-to-one. And that is not every child, but that is the best way she learns. And the fact that she has multiple people working with her, even though she learns best with that one-on-one, is awesome because she's not particular anymore. And she used to be, and that was my fault. All right. So I'm admitting that was my fault. And so now I encourage a lot of my families generalize it, don't just have one-on-one, have, a couple different ones. As long as your child has a one-on-one with them, who cares who it is? Know who's working with your child, so if you got Mandy and Tyler and Sarah and Robbie, okay, all four of them work with your child, right? So it's not don't know who it is, but let the rotation happen freely. And I would have put in my IEP where if a change in one-to-one para was made, that they were to let me know in advance of the change. And yes, more likely than not, that can happen. Of course, there's your certain situations where that can't happen. But the situations which more likely than not can, and you can have that advance notice of, okay, your para's leaving or whatever the case may be, because then you can prepare your child too. So it's not just in our best interest. All right. We have to flip it, like I teach you in my Rock the IEP course, you have to flip it and make it about the child. So even though I wanted the knowledge of the change and to get used to it myself as a parent, it was in the interest of my child to know about the change because she doesn't like change and she needs that kind of forewarning and that talking about it and that, okay, someone's different's going to be there today, so that's important. Okay. So love on your paras, care about, who they are, find out who they are, get to know who they are. If they're not people you like, then to switch them up. But the ones that are good, you're going to know too. And you want to keep them around. And that's just truly important. You don't want a hand holder, meaning not them, but meaning your child. You don't want someone just hand holding your child. You want someone that's going to support your child. All right. And you need to sit down and figure out if you're going to have a one-on-one or if you're going to have a para work with your child. Well, one, I'm going to be teaching you what you need to be doing. Okay. So watch out for the membership. If you're not on my email list, make sure you message me. And I can even give you the link to my IEP checklist. All right. You can get on my my newsletter and email list and, learn all kinds of things, IEP, along with getting resources. And I'm going to focus in different areas. I'm going to focus on things that are everywhere. I'm going to focus on things that are just happening in today's special education world. And I'm going to focus on things that will be, a tip for you. So it's not going to be just, okay, this is IEP, this is what you need to do, this is how you do it. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a variety of things, excuse me, that you can really put into play. All right. Now that I'm choking on myself, which means I think I'm talking too much. So any questions? Lorna, you will be fine. All right. You're welcome, Samantha. All right, guys. All right. Go have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow afternoon. Now that I'm like choking on myself, I think I talked too much today. Yes, I have 3 spots left now. I think 2 days ago, I told you guys I had 4. I only have 3 now. Crazy. I'm getting so busy. And I swore to myself, I was not going to get busy this year. I was going to just do the membership. But I am excited about my membership because it's going to be teaching you guys what to do in that meeting, which I hope it's online. But I want you to know what to do in that meeting. And I want you to bring things up. I want you to bring me video. I want you to bring me recordings that I can just nitpick and really tell you what to do. And what I mean by that is not boss you around, but like tell you what to do to get it done. Samantha says Skylar sounds so much like my daughter with being picky about people she's paired. Yeah. And it's not, Skylar's awesome. Everybody loves Skylar. It's me they don't like. You know, but I'm the one who like made sure that child had everything she needed. I know you guys know what that's like. You know, as a parent, I think it's important, you know. I try to like separate myself sometimes to like tell you guys, look, I'm a parent just like you. And, you know, sure, I'm a great advocate. Actually, I'm an awesome advocate. But, you know, in the end, I'm just a parent and I'm just a mom and I'm just a person who's passionate about what they do in order to get these kids everything that they need. And I'm just a person, a parent, a mom, and someone who just also happens to have 0 tolerance for bullshit and have no problem whatsoever letting that be known and making sure that they're held accountable for it. Because guess what? When we F up, we have to own up to it. We have to pay the price. And that's life. That's just life. All right. And hopefully, in learning those lessons, they change. That's the hope, you know, when we F up as people, the goal, the only thing that matters about effing up is what you learn from it. Don't worry about what everybody says about you effing up. Who cares? The only thing that matters is what did you do to change it, or what did you do to just be a better person? All right? Don't let anybody else tell you differently. All right? Because I've heard so much lately on like just negativity and nasty people that I don't have tolerance for that either. So I'm going to hopefully give you guys some word of advice. Don't pay any mind to negative, nasty people. Don't do it. All right? If they're putting you down and they're making you feel like shit, the problem's with them, not you. Okay? Problems with them. Okay? Not you. Learning the hard way sucks, but you are better for yes. 100%. All right? So take that. All right? So next topic, you guys ready? We're going to talk a lot about the membership because I want to I want you guys to make how do you say it? A good educated decision. Because I don't want just anybody. I don't want anybody in the membership if it's not for them. And so we're going to talk a lot about that in the next live. And we're going to talk about how some of the school districts right now that are getting ready to open are kind of ignoring parents and emails that are coming out and taking longer than necessary to respond. I've gotten a lot of messages in reference to that, and I get it. Because you're like, what's going on? I'm trying to get hold of you. I want this to happen right when school starts, and nobody's getting back to me. Ugh, what do I do? So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about what you're going to learn in the membership and why it's going to help you. Okay? Because I didn't get good at number one is I learned something new at every IEP meeting. That's number one. All right. So number one probably is never be a know-it-all. All right. Because nobody is a know-it-all. Number two, always want to learn. I learn at every IEP meeting. All right. Learn to get better at what you do. I piss people off in IEP meetings, not because I did something to them. I didn't do anything to them. What I'm doing is pissing them off because I'm holding them accountable. I'm making them take data. Oh, shit. Damn. I made them take data. That really pisses them off. Or I make them show me data that they don't have. And then I make them own it. You know? I'm good at catching them on things when they're feeding me bullshit. But here's the thing is I don't hold it against them. If they own their bullshit, it's gone. It flew away the moment they owned it. You know? Even if they were a pain in my ass for 3 IEP meetings, the minute they own it and are open to changing whatever it is that was done wrong, I let bygones be bygones. Because at the end of the day, you can't change what's happened. You can change what happens moving forward. And that's just the truth. All right? So, you can't worry about what people think. You definitely can't expect to be an advocate if you're going to worry about being liked. And the thing is as a mom, teachers once, this is kind of funny. Once and I run into her teachers, her older teachers, and her kindergarten teachers, like on my Facebook and everything, is they would always come up to me when Sky was like out of their grade. So like out of first grade, out of second grade, whatever. And they would be like, Skylar is so lucky to have you because you are such an amazing advocate for her. So what did that tell me? It told me that they had nothing but respect for me, but they didn't want to deal with me on their end, you know? And that's what you want, you know? Does it get, you know, down to the wire and, you know, not so nice? Yeah, but look what they're doing. Every damn day to how many kids? Yeah. So, you know, LAUSD is definitely paying a price. Fairfax County Schools is paying a price. I mean, do what you got to do and you don't have to pay the price. You know, I can't imagine having to give compensatory services to 23,000+ kids from one district. It's insane. Insane. I mean, insane. No wonder teachers are quitting. They're like, I want any parts of that shit, you know? So, all right. So, have a good evening, guys. All right. Thanks for joining me, Mindy, Kim, Samantha, Lorna. Lorna, give me a call. We can set up a discovery call. It's completely free. You can throw up on me and tell me about your 12-year-old. Love ABA therapy. I know some people are against it, but it doesn't work for everybody, but it definitely did my child. So, I would love to chat with you about that. And, if you have any questions or, things like that, let me know. Yeah. So I know that Kim and Aaron, and a lot of people, even Mindy, you are, believe it or not, Janet even, and Christine, you say you got denied. All right. Well, we're going to change that. All right. You guys can become advocates and be so successful that you're going to be able to do it for other kids and not just your own, because we need more of you, good, passionate, caring people that don't mind getting a little nasty every once in a while and can really do what's necessary in order to get these kids what they need. And that's when you're working against a wall sometimes. So, but I know there's so many of you out there. I know there is. I just know there is, and I know that there's so many people that want to know, what do I do in the IEP meeting? I know I've heard all about, the laws, I'll tell you about, the Bible. You guys will, I promise you will get the Bible. Okay. This is actually something I'm going to be giving away when you share, when I'm live. All right. I have collected multiple. So, make sure you share, because when you share at the end of the month, you will get a gift. I will be announcing July's people in the end of August, because I kind of started the end of July. Okay. So when I'm live, make sure you put shared. You'll see people say shared. That's when your name goes into the hat. Okay. And then I pick normally 3 names. What's that book title? Looking in to get one also. You want me to just send you the Amazon thingy dingy? But I'm gonna also put it on my website and stuff. So, all right. Okay. Yeah, I'll send it to you. But I mean, I know you're joining the membership too, though, Kim. So which that's going to be next week. So all those links and all a ton of products and all that you're going to have free. Okay. So yeah, we'll get that to you. All right. But I'll send it to you tonight. All right, guys. So I will talk to you guys later. And don't forget to love on your paras and your teacher assistants, and, talk to them, get to know them, I mean, not that you can get to know them like you're going to be tight sisters or whatever, but, get to know them a little bit. Don't let the school keep you away from them, because they don't want y'all talking, or I'm not keen on that. Go tour the school and go observe your child and do all of those things, okay? So that what it is that you need to see, and the things that are out there, and who's working with your child, who's not. That's important, seeing everything, because if they're saying they're providing certain things, you want to be able to see that, and you have a right to. Okay? You have a right to see. Unless it's on the school district's policy, all right? Which it's not. I'm telling you right now, it's not. That there is no observing your child. Then you can. Principals don't get to, and this happens, they don't get to just pull out of their ass that they're not letting people observe their children. All right? But believe me, they will. They will. All right? I have never seen so much ass pulling in my life. All right? So just know that you got to, swim through those waters as well. All right? But you'll be all right. All right? Okay. Talk to you guys soon. I will be on live tomorrow. It'll be either morning, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, but it's not going to be late tomorrow. All right. Thursday, I will be late again. I'll do an evening. But tomorrow I might, what's a good time for y'all? It's so weird, trying to get, so many people. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to do some mornings. I'm going to do some afternoons, lunchtime. I'm going to do evenings, stuff like that. All right. But share. And I hope this helps some people. And I hope this helped people. Thank you so much for sharing. Lets people know that, realize that if paras are looked at in a bad light sometimes, that you got to remember that the negative usually is up here and not down here. They like to rain down on people. So we need to lift them up. All right. Make them feel appreciated, make them feel cared for. And, especially if you have a good para, damn, if you have a good para, keep that para, do whatever you have to do. Okay. But if you don't, then you need to do what you got to do with that too. Okay. So, later on in the month, I'm going to talk about teachers. I'm going to talk about your good teachers, your bad teachers, the things that you need to look for, the things that you should listen to, the things that you shouldn't listen to, the keywords that you should look at, the red flags, and more. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the lies that you are told. I've talked about this before, but guess what? It has blossomed and grown, and there's so many different petals and flowers now on that. I thought I had them all. But I don't. I mean, they get really creative with the lies that they tell. Who's crying? Who put a little crying person? What are you sad about? All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. And if you can't catch me live, watch the replay. Make sure you still share and your name is still going in the hat. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.